Infant baptism is the practice of baptizing infants or young children. In theological discussions, the practice is sometimes referred to as pedobaptism or pedobaptism from the Greek pais meaning child. The practice is sometimes contrasted with what is called believer's baptism or credobaptism, from the Latin word credo meaning I believe, which is the religious practice of baptizing only individuals who personally confess faith in Jesus, therefore excluding underage children. Infant baptism is also called christening by some faith traditions. Most Christians belong to denominations that practice infant baptism. Denominational families that practice infant baptism include Catholics, Eastern and Oriental Orthodox, Anglicans, Lutherans, Presbyterians and other Reformed denominations, Methodists and some Nazarenes, and the Moravian Church. Ceremony. The exact details of the baptismal ceremony vary among Christian denominations. Many follow a prepared ceremony, called a rite or liturgy. In a typical ceremony, parents or godparents bring the child to the congregation's priest or minister. The rite used would be the same as the denomination's rite for adults, i.e., by pouring holy water or by sprinkling water. Eastern Orthodox and Eastern Catholic traditions practice total immersion and baptize babies in a font, and this practice is also the first method listed in the baptismal ritual of the Roman Catholic, although pouring is the standard practice within the Latin branch of Catholicism. Catholic and Orthodox churches that do this do not sprinkle. At the moment of baptism, the minister utters the words, "I baptize you," is baptized in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, although it is not required. Many parents and godparents choose to dress the baby in a white gown called a christening gown for the baptism ceremony. Christening gowns often become treasured keepsakes that are used by many other children in the family and handed down from generation to generation. Traditionally, this gown is white or slightly off-white and made with much lace, trim and intricate detail. In the past, a gown was used for both boys and girls. In the present day it has become more common to dress children in a baptismal outfit, also normally made of white fabric. The outfit consists of a romper with a vest or other accessories. These clothes are often kept as a memento after the ceremony. It is a naval tradition to baptize children using the ship's bell as a baptismal font and to engrave the child's name on the bell afterwards. Tracking down and searching for an individual's name on a specific bell from a ship may be a difficult and time-consuming task. Christening information from the bells held by the Canadian Forces Base Esquimalt Museum has been entered into a searchable data archive that is accessible to any interested website visitors. History. Scholars disagree on the date when infant baptism was first practiced. Some believe that first-century Christians did not practice it, noting the lack of any explicit evidence of pedobaptism. Others, noting the lack of any explicit evidence of exclusion of pedobaptism, believe that they did. Understanding biblical references to individuals and households being baptized, as well as the promise to you and your children as including small children and infants. The earliest extra-biblical directions for baptism, which occur in the Didache, are taken to be about baptism of adults, since they require fasting by the person to be baptized. However, inscriptions dating back to the 2nd century which refer to young children as children of God may indicate that Christians customarily baptized infants too. The earliest reference to infant baptism was by Irenaeus in his work Against Heresies. Due to its reference to Eleutherus as the current bishop of Rome, the work is usually dated c. 180. Irenaeus speaks of children and infants being born again to God. This reference has been described as obscure. 3 passages by Origen mention infant baptism as traditional and customary. while Tertullian, writing c. 198–203, advises the postponement of baptism of little children and the unmarried. He mentions that it was customary to baptize infants, with sponsors speaking on the behalf. The apostolic tradition, sometimes attributed to Hippolytus of Rome, describes how to perform the ceremony of baptism. It states that children were baptized first, and if any of them could not answer for themselves, the parents or someone else from the family was to answer for them. From at least the 3rd century onward, Christians baptized infants as standard practice, although some preferred to postpone baptism until late in life, so as to ensure forgiveness for all the preceding sins.